Hi, my name is Erin Bevan, and I'm applying for the James T. and Rose M. Perryman Family Foundation Scholarship. I'm going to be going to Susquehanna University in the fall for environmental studies and public policy. I'm really passionate about the environment. I first learned about environmentalism when I was really young because I watched Dr. Seuss's The Lorax, and the movie had a really big impact on me. A lot of people tend to take that movie as a joke, they laugh at it, but I think the message behind it is really important. And not only that, I think it's vital that we listen to it and understand it, because any damage done to the environment it needs to be not only stopped but then repaired, because the environment is, I truly believe, absolutely everything to us. It is where we find our food, our water, our clean air. That is any space we occupy. It is all the environment. And I feel like as a society, globally, we prioritize convenience over health and preservation of the environment. We don't care for it the way we should, because the impact we have on the environment, it also has on us. One of the biggest examples I have of this is just plastic. The amount of plastic we use when you go to a grocery store, you use a plastic bag. It's 30 seconds of convenience because you get to carry it in easier, but then it's also wasteful. Even if you recycle them, that plastic is made, it will not decompose. It's not biodegradable. But then we can talk about clothes. A lot of fast fashion is made from plastic. Polyester is plastic, and those don't decompose either. And it's not good. And that even can connect to unpaid and unfair labor for the cheap prices that they're sold for and the cheap material it's made of, plastic. But we can also talk about things like industrial farming, where I don't believe everyone should be growing their own food or raising their own livestock, but the scale of industrial farming and the treatment of the animals and the waste of resources in industrial farming is just unbelievable. The agricultural procedures are not fitting very well when you look at the numbers. I don't have any in front of me, but when you look at the numbers, it's a lot of waste. It's a lot more waste than it could be. But also when you look at community farms, when you fit the scale to an area, it works out a lot better. Some other major problems we have right now are carbon emissions, which I feel like is something everyone knows about. We all know about greenhouse gases. And a lot of people feel like there's not a lot we can do to stop that. When you look at things like cars or even factories, those are things that have to run. But the problem is that it doesn't, because we rely on non-renewable resources. When you rely on renewable resources, a lot of the carbon emissions go away, the greenhouse gases reduce, and then our Earth is no longer warming as it is right now. And then we're going to go back to industrial farming for a second, because that connects to zoos, which is an industry that also treats animals really poorly, and that also will lead to deforestation and habitat removal, which is a major problem that people really don't focus on enough, because habitat removal, the less variation you have in the environment, the worse it gets. And then we have the mixing of environments with invasive species, plant or animal. It just completely ruins any ecosystem. Then we can go into national parks and how they're being destroyed, especially from disregard for nature by just people visiting. People don't follow the leave no trace rule. And it's tourism, even usually in nature, but any kind of tourism can absolutely destroy the environment. And it's just, all of it is horrible, and human impact really needs to be assessed and hopefully fixed, which is also why I'm interested in public policy. That's why I'm double majoring with that, because you can work in local government, you can work as a policy advisor, you can review current policies for the intended purpose that you're seeking out, which for me would be environmentalism. I hope to make the most amount of change I can during my lifetime using my education, and outside of that, I plan on volunteering with environmentally focused groups for the rest of my life. Thank you for the opportunity.